Chapter 12, 88. Practicing the Killer Move. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. With sufficient attainment level, Fang Yuan created an immortal killer move on the spot. Because he used Myriad Self-Killer Move as the foundation, Fang Yuan named this move Myriad Self-Second Style. But because this move was just created, it was far from being usable. Bam, bam, bam. Old Ancestor Shui Hu and the dogtail life-extending ferret Mao Li Chu, these two rank 8 existences, continued to attack Reverse Flow River, causing huge ripples in the water. Countless attacks were reflected as the water level started to fall. Fang Yuan's actions had gone past their bottom line, and because he was unwilling to give up, Old Ancestor Shui Hu and Mao Li Chu were expending their energy to attack Reverse Flow River in order to kill Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked at the river water thinking, at this rate, I still have a lot of time. His heart eased slightly. Reverse Flow River was a secluded domain of heaven and earth indeed. It endured the attacks of 2 rank 8 existences, only falling a little in water level. Of course, a reason was that Shui Hu and Mao Li Chu did not use their full strength. They were wary of each other, and Wei Ling Yang and Bi Chen Tian were together with the other Central Continent Gu immortals, awaiting their chance. These people restrained each other. They guarded against each other. How could they use their full strength on Fang Yuan? Because of this complex situation, a lot of pressure was lifted off Fang Yuan. He could test his killer move without rushing. The first activation. Fang Yuan was careful. First was Perseverance Immortal Gu. It had been expending Red Date Immortal Essence to allow Fang Yuan to move freely in Reverse Flow River, remaining unrestricted by the secluded domain of heaven and earth. Next were a large number of Water Path Mortal Gu. They flew up in Fang Yuan's immortal aperture, surrounding the huge Perseverance Immortal Gu as they moved in the air. Soon, large amounts of water vapor rose as faint blue light appeared in them. But soon, this blue light vanished. Some of it had even turned red. The originally ice-cold water vapor had turned warmer. I failed. Fang Yuan immediately stopped. The scene in front of him was out of his expectations. This was not what he wanted. He stopped his immortal essence expenditure. Crack, crack. Large numbers of Water Path Mortal Gu exploded, destroyed on the spot. Fang Yuan calmed down and started to think. According to his planning, there should be blue light shining as the water vapor became colder. Why was there red light and warmer temperature? Fang Yuan deduced in his mind soon, because of his wisdom path attainment level, he found the source of the problem. It was because he had used 2 conflicting Water Path Mortal Gu. Fang Yuan immediately changed one of them. In Reverse Flow River, he could open his immortal aperture and connect to Treasure Yellow Heaven to purchase Water Path Mortal Gu easily. After modifying the entire immortal killer move, Fang Yuan tried to activate it again for the second time. Perseverance. Immortal Gu was still in use. The surrounding Water Path Mortal Gu started to rise and fly around it. First was water vapor and blue light. He soon passed this stage as Fang Yuan used Immortal Gu Pulling Water. Rank 6 Strength Path Immortal Gu Pulling Water. This was the second core of the immortal killer move. The first core was undeniably rank 7, Perseverance Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan was careful. While activating Perseverance Immortal Gu, he activated Pulling Water. It was a very risky thing. If he could not manage it well, these 2 immortal Gu might interfere and cause harm to each other. They might even get destroyed. Testing immortal killer moves was not just risky to the Gu Immortal. The immortal Gu and mortal Gu involved were also in danger. And because immortal Gu themselves were fragments of the Great Tao, when they suffered a backlash, the damage was much more severe. Fang Yuan was very vigilant. He was quickly rewarded for it. He met with difficulty. Although Pulling Water Immortal Gu was activated and its mystical power was used, it could not integrate into the framework of the move. What is the problem? Fang Yuan stopped. A lot of Water Path Mortal Gu were destroyed. Experimenting with immortal killer moves had a price. A complete and effective immortal killer move needed conceptualization and experimentation. the Gu Immortal needed to put in a lot of effort and resources. As the attacks in the outside world continued, Fang Yuan ignored them. He had the sovereign immortal body. His thoughts were produced rapidly as they moved around and collided. With his Wisdom Path Grandmaster attainment level, Wisdom Path Dao marks, as well as Wisdom Path methods, his deductions were progressing rapidly. It was faster this time. In just a few breaths of time, Fang Yuan found the problem. The powers of perseverance, immortal Gu and pulling water, immortal Gu could not fuse together. It was because the quantity and types of water path mortal Gu were not appropriate. These mortal Gu were the bridge between the two immortal Gu. They had the effect of linking them. Fang Yuan thought about it. He reduced a portion of some water path mortal Gu, and while increasing others, at the same time, he added in new water path mortal Gu. The third activation. This time, it was smooth sailing. He successfully fused pulling water immortal Gu into the killer move. The moment he succeeded, there were waves forming in the reverse flow river water below him. It was finally starting to work. But he was still far from reaching his goal. Fang Yuan did not rest. He could not waste time in this situation. He continued experimenting. Activating the immortal killer move, his aura strengthened and weakened at times, flickering continuously. What is Liu Guanyi doing? Gu worm auras are appearing on his body from time to time. It looks like he is experimenting with an immortal killer move. Other than old ancestors Xue Hu and Mao Li Chu, the other Gu immortals were just watching. Every time Fang Yuan experimented with his immortal killer move, the Gu worm auras would leak. It could not be concealed from the Gu immortals. If he wanted to conceal the auras, he needed a special immortal killer move. These types of immortal killer moves were very rare. Like Fang Yuan's Dark Assassination, it was among these immortal killer moves. Fang Yuan reached his limits and conceptualized myriad self-second style. He could not consider adding aura concealment to it. But it did not matter. Gu worm auras alone could not determine the types of Gu worms. Furthermore, he had just created myriad self-second style. It was complex and used many different Gu. It was not possible for them to find out its flaws by watching. Fourth time, fifth time. Fang Yuan continued to activate the immortal killer move. Sometimes he made great progress, while sometimes, because of some adjustments, he backtracked by several steps. Fang Yuan was not dejected. He persevered on without any expression. He is really testing an immortal killer move. Hehehe, is this Liu Guanyi an idiot? Creating an immortal killer move on the spot? Does he think he is an immortal venerable or demon venerable? Even if he creates an immortal killer move, I want to see if he can use it to deal with all of us. The Gu immortals watching all commented on Fang Yuan's naivety and mocked him in disdain. If immortal killer moves were so easy to create, would they still be immortal killer moves? But soon, some of their expressions changed. They found that some mystical changes were occurring in reverse flow river. 21st try. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm, grabbing towards it river below his feet. Rise. At the same time, he muttered lightly, Bam. A soft sound occurred as a huge ball appeared on the river surface near him. This ball was completely made of reverse flow river's water. After rising, it burst as water splattered everywhere. The killer move activation failed. Fang Yuan's nose was bleeding as 2 streams of blood flowed down. His immortal killer move has effect on reverse flow river? Yu Yi Yezi saw this and his eyes shined with sharp light. No, more accurately speaking, he is using reverse flow river to create an immortal killer move, Bu Zhenzi said. Laughable. Black Extremity smiled coldly. Back then, I used reverse flow river to create the sub and main fate reversing refinement formation. It used up several years of my time. Liu Guanyi, even if you are the reverse flow river lord, you are simply too arrogant. You think you can create an immortal killer move using it in such a short amount of time? Evidently, none of the Gu immortals here thought highly of Fang Yuan's chances. But soon, Fang Yuan started his testing again. Pew! This time, a small mound appeared on the river surface near him. The mound quickly collapsed as the water doused Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's expression turned pale, his body wavered. Not only did he have a nosebleed, even his ears were bleeding. I failed again, man as before. At the next moment, he was completely healed. I should find the reason for the failure. It seems that a small problem occurred at the final juncture. Fang Yuan fell into deep contemplation.